You ever come home to your own house, the one you poured your whole life and grief into, and find 100 strangers setting up a party right next to your wife's ashes? Yeah, that happened. And let me tell you, nothing says, "Welcome to the neighborhood," like an HOA president smiling at you with a contract in her hand, a contract you never signed. You know what I mean? That's the kind of moment that makes you question if the universe is testing your patience or just having a sick little laugh at your expense. Let me back up a sec. After Eleanor died, the silence in our old place was too thick to breathe. I'd spent decades fighting in courtrooms, building houses, arguing cases that dragged on for years. But when you lose the one person who made home feel like more than four walls, well, even winning feels empty. So I took every dollar I'd saved and bought this beat-up lakefront mansion in North Carolina, thinking, maybe here, with enough sweat and sawdust, I could carve out a little piece, you know? And, yeah, there was an HOA, but I figured their obsession with bylaws might actually keep things quiet. That was the dream anyway. 6 months of hard work, pulling permits, passing inspections, restoring every cracked board, by the book, because that's just who I am. I even went so far as to get the county to officially approve the place for short-term rentals. Not because I wanted to Airbnb my grief away, but because I like having options. I had the stamped PDF, everything buttoned up, just in case. It was my way of drawing a line in the sand. This house is mine, every splinter of it, and nobody's going to take it away. Enter Karen Marson, Queen Bee of the HOA. First time I met her, she was all teeth and sugar, congratulating me on my jewel of the lake. Flattery so thick it left a film on your teeth. A week later, she sends me an email, wants to use my place for some welcome committee shindig. I write back, polite but clear, not ready for parties, Karen. My wife's urn is still on the mantle. The space is sacred. You'd think that'd be enough, right? Next day, I run to the hardware store. Come back, and there it is, my street lined with catering vans, event parking signs with the HOA logo, my front door wide open. Inside, strangers bustling around, folding chairs, stringing up lights. One guy in a chef's coat gives me a nod. We're right on schedule for tonight. I had to laugh, just to keep from yelling. Because, you see, it wasn't a mistake. It was a home invasion dressed up like a potluck. The caterer flashes me a contract, my name, my digital signature, everything official. Only, I never signed a damn thing. And Karen, when I finally get her on the phone, has the gall to act like I'm the problem. Paul, don't be difficult. The neighborhood is counting on you. Don't be selfish. Selfish. For wanting privacy in the one place I can still feel my wife's presence. That's when I knew. This wasn't some misunderstanding. It was a power play, and I was supposed to fold. Only, she didn't know who she was dealing with. 30 years as a litigator teaches you one thing above all. Every lie leaves a trail. I got a copy of the contract, sent it to my niece Trish, sharpest paralegal I know, and started poking at the details myself. That's when the cracks showed. The email Karen sent the caterer was dated that morning, but the contract's metadata? Created weeks before. She'd forged my signature, built a fake paper trail, and never planned to ask me for permission at all. As if that wasn't enough, the HOA doubled down. Next day, I get an email threatening to fine me $2,000 a day for violating neighborhood bylaws by canceling an event I never agreed to. Said I'd given Karen a verbal okay weeks ago. Only problem? My front door's got a Nest camera, recording everything, time-stamped and saved in the cloud. Not a single HOA member had set foot on my porch. And just when I thought I'd seen it all, a neighbor, Jerry, old lineman, never trusted the HOA, sends me a forwarded email from Karen herself. Don't worry, I've got the keys. She'd actually bragged about breaking into my house, like it was just another chess move. Now, I'm not one for drama, but there's a line. They hadn't just trespassed, they'd weaponized my grief. I started building my case, brick by brick, like I was prepping for a trial that could save my own soul. Documented the forgery, the fake contract, the Nest camera logs, every flyer they stuffed in neighbors' mailboxes smearing my name. I even caught Ed, the treasurer, on camera trying to jimmy open my garage and plotting with his buddies to cut my power if I didn't give in. They weren't just bullies, they were idiots with a god complex. But you want the twist? Here it is. After I locked down the house, backed up my cameras, and fortified the breaker box with my old friend Dave, master electrician, never met a lock he couldn't outsmart. I just waited. Karen still threw her party. Or tried to. On the big day, the whole parade rolled up. DJ vans, food trucks, 100 guests in party clothes. All stopped cold at my new locked gate. Karen showed up in her Sunday best, ready to play hostess, only to find a scene straight out of a sitcom. Confused guests, no party, nowhere to go. Then the cops arrived. Karen, working her Oscar-worthy outrage, tries to get them to force me to open the gate. But see, I had the truth on my side, and every scrap of evidence in hand. I showed the cops everything, calm as could be. The forged contract, the emails, the camera logs. They looked at Karen, then at me, and you could see the light go on. This wasn't a neighborly dispute. It was fraud. They told her it was a civil matter and left her standing there, exposed. That should have ended it. But bullies like Karen never quit easy. She went full scorched earth, sending out flyers calling me unstable, telling everyone I broke my promise, that the party was canceled for guest safety. I put those in my binder too. Every little lie, neatly labeled, evidence for the reckoning I knew was coming. So, I did what any old lawyer with a lifetime of receipts would do. I sued, filed in small claims for the maximum, $100,000. Named the HOA, Karen, Ed, and the rest of their cabal. Property violation, fraud, defamation, criminal conspiracy, with the video to prove it. The day of court, I walked in alone, no lawyer needed. The judge gave me 5 minutes. I only needed 3. I laid out my case, exhibit by exhibit, lie by lie, right down to the USB video of Ed plotting to cut my power. Karen, caught dead to rights, tried to bluff, but you can't bluff when the evidence is in black and white. The judge didn't just rule in my favor. She nearly referred them for criminal prosecution. Karen's mask finally broke. 3 minutes, for documents, and their whole little empire collapsed. And the fallout? It wasn't loud. It was almost sad. Karen slunk away, forced to resign. The special assessment to cover the $100,000 judgment hit every homeowner, myself included. But honestly, it felt like justice was finally louder than the gossip. Jerry, bless his heart, wound up president by default. First rule he passed: no more events on private property without a notarized, written consent. I could have laughed if I wasn't still so tired. You know, in the end, it wasn't about the money, the party, or even the HOA. It was about proving, to myself, to my neighbors, to Eleanor's memory, that you don't have to fight dirty to win. You just have to be calm, document everything, and let the truth do the shouting. I rebuilt the bookshelf in my office, put Eleanor's urn right on top, and looked out at the lake with a kind of peace I hadn't felt since she left. But let's be real, the story never really ends. Power always finds a new face. Bullies always look for another way in. So here's my question to you. Where do you draw the line between standing your ground and becoming the villain in someone else's story? Drop your thoughts below. Was I right? Was I wrong? Or was this just another American small-town circus? Comment where you're watching from, and let's hear your take on justice, community, and what really makes a home worth fighting for.